He's got like a lobster tattoo.
Fatality.
Hello, welcome back to this week's episode of Wake Up 3. This is round 33, and we are your hosts, Molly
And Cam. And we are a fighting game podcast from a couple that loves fighting games. And we have something a little special for you this week. We've got our very first guest. But before we get into that, we're going to start things off with a mix-up. Well, this week I wanted to talk about qualifiers for Capcom Cup. There are 47 players that are qualified for Capcom Cups so far, out of 48. So the actual cup itself is nearly ready. And out of these 47 players, there are still 6 characters that have not been used at all to qualify.
Wow, okay, yeah. Okay.
So 14 characters have qualified in some capacity, and there are 6 that have not. And I want you to tell me which 6 characters have not qualified for Capcom Cup.
Okay. My first guess is based on how available this character has been. So I'm going to go with Aki.
You're right.
Okay, good. Let's go on with the same theory and choose Rashid.
Wrong.
Oh.
There has been one Rashid player.
Oh, okay. So somebody doesn't suck.
I suck.
Let's go with Lily.
There are no Lilies, you're right.
Okay.
So you've got 2 out of 6, 4 to go.
Let's go with Honda.
0 Hondas, so
yes!
You're halfway there.
Okay,
That's
okay.
right.
Okay. Zangief?
There has been 1 Zangief.
Wow, shocking. Okay. Yeah. Chun-Li?
There have been 4 Chun-Lis.
Okay. I thought that was kind of a gamble, but...
Yeah, that's all right.
Ryu.
There's been 1 Ryu.
Wow, okay.
That one was Ending Walker a couple weeks ago. He qualified. So.
All right. I guess I'll go out on a limb here, a really long, stretchy limb, and say Dalsum.
There have been 3 Dalsums.
Damn. Manon.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
2 more.
Jamie.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Jamie's on there. And now you have 1 final character that has not made Capcom Cup.
There was something in your look that I was like, I gotta say Jamie.
Just, staring at you, eyes wide.
Yeah, you're like leaning completely around the mic, like, you'll be a fool if you don't say this name.
Think about how bad the character is that you play.
Yeah. Think about why you picked up Ken. One more. Who do we got?
Someone that does not have an invincible reversal, which makes it hard for them to take turns back.
Oh. Wait, no, I feel like that couldn't be it. Is it Guile?
No, it is not Guile. Guile has 4.
Yeah, I thought he's got to have some representation.
Yeah, he's in there.
Shit. I don't know who that would be, but I'm going to guess Kimberly.
You're right.
Yay!
Yep, that's it.
Well,
she did have an invincible reversal in the beta.
Oh.
But people complained about it so much because they weren't able to actually lab against her. There was no training mode in the beta. It was just matches. So people complained so much that she got nerfed in a bad way. And now she's towards the bottom.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I do want to mention the top 3 characters that have qualified the most. There have been 7 DJs, 8 Kens, and 11 Lukes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a lot of Luke.
That's a lot of Luke. 1 modern Luke out of the bunch.
Oh.
And that's the only modern representation among the entire 47.
Interesting. Well, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
That it's that small. You know how we feel about modern controls. If you've heard us talk about Street Fighter 6.
Baby mode for babies.
Oh, yeah. Something like that.
It shouldn't be that mean, but I'm sure it's helpful for
Honestly,
some people.
whatever gets you to play the game.
Yeah, it's all about just playing. So.
Yeah, we'll fight a modern. We'll beat you up.
Or I'll get beat.
Yeah.
I've been getting all my stats from CatCammy6 on Twitter. They post really nice infographics. More than just these ones. They've posted all kinds of stuff recently. So if you like stats and you like Street Fighter 6, check them out on Twitter.
I love hearing stats like that.
Yeah, they're
that
super
kind
fun.
of expand on character usage and the validity of characters taking it all you got to go all the way to qualify. So
yeah, exactly. You have to win your region, and then there's all these different regions that are going to go against each other in the actual Capcom Cup, which is pretty cool.
And there's only one more spot to fill. So will one of these 6 characters make it out of the 0? We'll see.
We'll see.
I got my fingers crossed for you, Jamie.
Is that who you think
my
that's
hopes
who it's
are
gonna be?
low.
I hope we get some new representation. I kind of hope they get like an Aki in there or something.
Yeah,
Just a wild card.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I still haven't fought against an Aki, but I know you have.
Let's jump right into it. Let's jump into our weekend fighting games. I've been playing a lot. I have played a lot of MK1, Baraka Jacks, and I've played a lot of Street Fighter 6 this week. More than any other week in the last few months, actually.
Yeah.
And I've pretty much only been playing Luke during the last couple of weeks. I do want to say I went on a really bad streak yesterday.
Yeah.
I went on a 15 loss streak in a row. And I just kept going thinking like, nah, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is it. And I just kept rematching people, moving on, whatever. It was all ranked, so I would rematch people if I could. Usually, some people will just run. I like to just play people whether I win or lose, because hopefully I learn something from it. I had pretty high spirits still. It was just kind of like, man, what the hell am I doing wrong? So I think part of the reason that I was losing for 15 straight matches was because I had just changed my button layout. I was trying something new. It didn't go too well, so I'm probably going to swap back to what I've been using the entire time for Street Fighter 6. I guess I'll let you know how that goes next week. Well, I think I pretty much covered my entire week in fighting games already. It was just a lot of Baraka Jacks and a lot of Luke.
Yeah, I think I played some MK with you, and like we mentioned last week, I haven't been playing as much fighting games.
You've been on that Elden Ring vibe the last couple of weeks.
I'm still there.
It's that seasonal thing. Something about the winter brings out like the Dark Souls vibe.
Yeah, just that cold emptiness. But yeah, I did play some MK1 with Cam. I think because I haven't been playing as much, our last first of 5 went real bad.
Pretty sure it actually ended up being 1-6.
It
and then
was.
You were like, what are we at now? And I was like, 1-6. And you're like, what the fuck are we still playing? Why didn't you tell me when it was at 5?
Cam's Baraka Jack's play has been evolving. That's cool to see.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's difficult to fight against, as we have mentioned. So 6-1 is not a great way to go. But there is one other fighting game we played this week, and it just so happens to be the topic that we are discussing today. And it is called the Rumblefish 2. So this is a game I never had heard of. And we actually have our very first guest on today to discuss it with us, and we're going to get to know him a little bit to start out. So without further ado, let's introduce you to our very first guest on Wake Up 3.
We'd like to welcome our very first guest, Go Billy.
Yay, here's Go Billy.
Here's Go Billy.
Thanks for being on the show with us.
Nice to be here, nice to be on.
We really appreciate you joining. And we were hoping we could ask you a couple of questions to start things off here, just to get to know you a little better.
Sure.
First off, I want to say you're an essential follow for anybody that's into fighting games. You often post like really niche fighting game trivia or your own sprite art. I think that's super cool. Whether it's costume swaps, move swaps, or just character sprites to like huge collages of projectiles in the shape of a fireball or an hourglass. It's easy to see kind of a love for the genre. And I was wondering, how did that love start? What was the first fighting game that you were like super, super into?
Probably Street Fighter 2. That was the one that immediately jumped out in arcades when it first came out that I gravitated to. And then Mortal Kombat. I think the love for a lot of these niche fighters came a little bit later because I was more into it like more the mainstream casual audience was. But as I kind of found a lot of these older fighters that I missed back in the day, that's kind of the love, that kind of built on that, like going back and like dissecting those things that didn't get that much of a look at the time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
I feel like we followed a similar path a little bit too. Like we started out on like the more popular fighters, and then once we started kind of collecting old games and stuff, we would grab things like Power Moves or World Heroes 2. So that's cool to hear that it was kind of a similar path. Neither of us were ever in the arcades at all. Were you an arcade player?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
I was there when they were dropping originally, mainly because we had a pretty good arcade at the mall that I used to go to.
Nice.
It kind of looked like it was designed like a medieval castle, actually.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
I remember like when the games would first come out, the lines, of people waiting to play, and
Wow.
it was a really interesting environment. It's something that really, even with the online, it can't be replicated in the way that it was back then.
Right.
It was very fun, very interesting time, and it was kind of the Wild Wild West with so many different things coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
arcades, and just with the information that we got through the magazines instead of just being immediately through the internet, there was so much surprise and shock, like when stuff would come out, like just seeing it for the first time.
Right.
At the time, I was more of a PC player because
Okay.
the Super Nintendos and stuff were great, but a lot of the ports, they couldn't catch up to the arcade
Right.
spec, in terms of like how the ports were. And
Mm-hmm.
PC wasn't great, but some of the ports were a little bit better than the Super Nintendo and Genesis. So
Okay. Yeah.
I tended to gravitate towards that at the time.
Another question. What are your 3 favorite fighting games of all time?
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
Take your time.
Garo, Mark of the Wolves.
It's a good one.
Is really up there.
Love that
I
game.
really am a huge Fatal Fury fan, so
Okay.
I gotta say Garo. Out of the Mortal Kombats to play, my favorite is Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, but I think in terms of nostalgia and just like what the game has, I liked Deception and I also liked MK9, but
Okay.
in terms of gameplay, I liked Ultimate MK3 the most. Let's see, what other one? Dan Kuga.
I've heard about that one.
I don't know that one. Huh.
Yeah.
I've just been hearing about that kind of recently, actually.
Yeah, it's really it's a prototype. It never really got officially. Well, I guess they did release it on a handheld, like a little mini arcade.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Title release, but it's a prototype upgrade to Kaiser Knuckle.
Okay. Cool.
And they actually play a lot different. Actually, I really recommend that you kind of check that series out because it's got some wild mechanics in it.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
'Cause I haven't played Kaiser Knuckle either. I have heard of that one, but yeah, I haven't tried that.
That game technically has 10 strengths of attack buttons.
Wow, really?
That's different.
That sounds crazy. I'm just imagining an arcade setup with like 20 different buttons on it, and it just says like "good luck" next to it.
Well, the way they do it is that you have a 6-button layout, but pushing low punch, medium punch gets you like a more, even bigger, like heavy punch, and then medium punch, heavy punch. It's weird, but of course you can put like a hotkey or something to kind of make it
Right. Okay.
10-button layout.
That's insane.
Dan Kuga, it took that out though, so
did it?
went down to a 6-button. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the fun part between the two differences between the games. They're pretty wild.
Yeah. That's cool. There's that big of a difference between them. Next question here for you. I might know the answer, but who is your favorite fighting game character of all time?
Billy Kane.
Okay.
And Gao from Virtua Fighter.
Okay.
That's the name, the username. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I thought it might be Billy Kane. If it wasn't, I was actually going to ask you about that because when I first started following you a couple of years ago, I think the first thing I ever saw and the reason I followed you is because somebody retweeted a Billy Kane shower curtain that you've got. And I thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have that. It's
That's
still
awesome.
hanging too, yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Do you think that's like your weirdest or most unique piece of like fighting game merchandise that you've got, memorabilia?
Yeah, but then it's not official, but my brother printed one of my artworks on a shower curtain too.
Oh, really?
Oh.
That's sweet.
So it's that Zangief and Cammy's costume thing.
Oh.
That's awesome. That's sweet.
So that's probably the weirdest thing I have that's related to
That's
fighting.
awesome.
That's great.
That's sweet. For me, it would be a golden and like diamond encrusted Raiden necklace.
Oh wow.
It's like it's just his face and bust. It's not very big, but yeah, it's just like a golden diamond. It's all fake, but it was ridiculous. It was too ridiculous to pass up. So that's
I
something
love
I've
some of
got.
that the merch that you can get on some of this crazy stuff. That
Yeah,
probably not official, but it's just so out
right.
there. But it's so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely not official, but it's pretty cool. Next question. Are you into any of the modern fighters that have come out over the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, I enjoy Street Fighter 6. Tekken 8's about to drop, so
Yeah.
I will definitely be playing that. Yeah, I still keep up with a lot of the modern stuff. Mortal Kombat 1, I have Mortal Kombat 1.
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
Cool.
so, yeah.
So you're still right in there with all the new ones then.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I just love the genre. I
Yeah.
think it's so fun and so interesting, and I think it's the love that I have shared with like my brother growing up with it. When you have somebody that's also into fighting
Yeah.
games, and the fact that you can play against each other, and it just creates kind of an environment I think that's very unique that you don't see in every kind of game, and it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
fun, a fun genre.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the best sparring partner you can have is somebody that you live with too. So like that way you
Oh
can
yeah.
kind of just like go back and forth and like you get on that wavelength where you can kind of almost just read each other's next moves before it's even started happening. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can get a lot of good back and forth from that. Well, switching gears a little bit here, I want to jump over to your art. How long have you been making collages and swaps with different fighting game and beat 'em up assets?
A little over a year, maybe a year and like 3 months or something like that.
Okay.
I never was an art kind of person, so it's not like I've really practiced doing it for a long time, but it was just something I sort of was doing to, just because doing art and being creative with things it's kind of relaxing and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And I started posting stuff initially in my account, and then a lot of it started to get good reaction. I guess that inspired me to kind of keep doing it more. So
Cool.
it's a learning experience for me, but I have fun doing it. I think it's a neat hobby, I guess.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely unique, and I'm actually surprised to hear you've only been doing it for like a year.
Yeah.
Because you're like the source for this unique style of art. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think like with the collages, that was the part that started me on that. Is I'm very interested in, like, when we talk about the genre of fighting games, but just the variety that's there.
Yeah.
Fighting games, everybody kind of doing their own thing, and I was interested in, like, there's so many concepts that are replicated in different fighting games, but they all have their own little spin on it. And I was thinking, well, what about the art and the assets that you see? Like, how many ways is that expressed by all these different fighting games? And that was kind of the motivation to do that, is just to see like how many different variations there are, and there's a lot of variety, even though there's similar conventions and things that they go towards. So
Yeah.
it's just fun just to kind of test it out. And
It is, yeah. It's really fun to look at them too, because I feel like there will be times where I know you did one recently where it was all hats, and I feel like I stared at that one for like such a long time because I was just trying to pick out all the hats I could recognize from a bunch of different games.
mhm. I think when we see certain games, we play them so often that a lot of that stuff kind of fades to the background, that we just
Yeah,
don't think about it.
yeah, it definitely
But
does.
it's like when you kind of look at it and it clicks and go, oh, yeah, I know what game that's from, or I've seen that. I'm
Hmm.
just not sure exactly where. And so that's the kind of, I think, the fun part is just like seeing that there's a familiarity, but yet there's a little bit of unknown when you're looking at some of that stuff. It's
Right,
like,
yeah.
I know there's something going on there, but I'm not quite sure.
I feel like they're super cool. I love seeing these collages that you do. I also wanted
Oh,
to
thank
know,
you.
yeah, definitely. I also wanted to know, how long do they usually take you? Did you want to walk us through like the process at all of ripping assets and putting them together?
So they can take a long time depending on how many assets I have to rip. So a lot of the assets that I go after is stuff that's, as far as I know, not like readily available on the internet. It's like most people are ripping the character sprites themselves,
Yeah.
not necessarily like some of the, like the game over text or
Right.
something like that. So I'll have to go in there and just rip every single one. So I go through like well over 100 games, sometimes more,
Yeah.
to try to find as many as I can.
That's insane.
And and so it can take hours and hours. Sometimes I'll spend a few hours ripping the sprites and then come back to it later.
Okay.
And then once I have them all, then I decide, okay, what am I gonna how am I gonna lay it out? And I've recently started to try to be more creative about the shapes that I put them in, because before I used to just do them in squares or rectangles.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to see if I could make it kind of more creative designs, and I hand move them into place. So
wow.
I'm sure there might be programs that could do it for me. I don't know. I'm not that into that kind of stuff, but
right.
A lot of it is just moving a lot of it in hand moving it into place and then trying to get it right. And then sometimes if I mess it up, I got to restart and do it all over again.
Oh,
wow.
I made the shape too big or something.
Oh yeah. I feel like they turn out super cool.
Yeah,
So.
I think the shapes are looking good.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are always
Oh,
impressive, so
I think my favorite's got to be the fireball with all the projectiles in
yeah.
it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one took a long.
That one's huge.
Time. That one took me over a month to finally get knocked down. Yeah, because I wanted to put as many as I could in there, but I was getting burnt out. You rip so many things, and you're like, oh. It's like, I haven't done Samurai Showdown yet. I haven't
man.
this game yet.
Yep.
Maybe I'll just stop, and it's like, no, I got to keep going. So.
I feel like they turn out super well, so I feel like
thank you.
Yeah, definitely. They look great. Switch gears a little bit again. What draws you to a character? Like moves, tier lists, vibes, just appearance?
I think the overall design, for the most part, it depends on the game. Like, I think if I'm playing something serious, it's the function of the character.
Okay.
Like, if I really want to be good at the game,
right,
I'll gravitate towards one that I feel that functions to my style of playing. But in terms of just general characters that I really like, I like the flashy types, the cocky, kind of chip on their shoulder characters, like whether it's Johnny Cage or Billy or whatever, that kind of thing.
Okay. I like that. That's a fun way to go. I feel like vibes and appearance has got that's probably my number one. I feel like if I don't vibe with a character, there's no way I can play them long term. I guess that being said, let's jump into the Rumblefish 2. So I've got some game details here. It was released in 2005 in Japanese arcades. The game was a sequel to 2004's The Rumblefish. Now, the Rumblefish 2 didn't release worldwide until December of 2022 digitally and October 2023 physically. So it was pretty recent that it came to America. And we have the physical collector's edition, courtesy of you. We got that from you. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Well, you're welcome.
And it comes with a bunch of cool stuff. It has the soundtrack on CD, a digital copy of the first game, a mini strategy guide, an art book, character move list sheets that you can just kind of put out in front of you for cheat sheets. And the art book has a story inside it as well that I kind of wanted to just read through real quick.
Okay, so the Rumblefish, the fight for survival. An illegal martial arts tournament is being hosted by Probe Nexus, one of the world's largest conglomerates, initiated by Probe Nexus's own chairman, Brad. The tournament makes a ring out of the city of Zone Prime, home of the company's headquarters. The competition isn't about fighting for sport. It was made to be a true fight for survival where combat may even result in death. Hungry for amusement, VIPs from each country gather as though called by the clamor of battle. They gamble away exorbitant sums of money on the outcome of each fight. Winning the tournament comes with a reward great enough to fulfill one's desires, no matter how astronomical they may be. Every time this tournament, where the hopes of spectators and contestants alike are caught in a whirlwind, has been held, its scale has only escalated, with each fight reaching new extremes. Some seek great fortune and status. Others look to test their mettle, and some are spurred by the shadows of the past.
Thinking about that, I feel like some of the big corporations, rich guys bidding on it, I feel like we're not that far away from that. Or,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That sounds like kind of close to reality, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe in 2005 that was a little bit further removed, but I honestly feel like we're not that far from that.
Yeah.
Some of the characters, I'm just going to go over some of the names, and then we'll just kind of jump into a few of our favorites, because I don't want to cover all 16 of them. But we've got Zen, Lud, Aaron, Hikari, Mito, Kaya, Garnet, Bazoo, Viren, Orville, Boyd, Typhon, Greed, Cheryl, Hazama, and Beatrice. I like those names. Mm-hmm. Some of them are so out there, and then you've just got like Beatrice. My 3 favorites were Viren, Mito, and Boyd. 2 of them were weapon users. Viren just has all kinds of... He's got like anything up his sleeves. He's got a chain. He's got like a baton of some sort. He's got grenades.
Like
I thought
a shock baton, or
yeah. I thought he was super cool. He was one of them that I was looking
That's
at.
my favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the guy I would have picked.
Yeah, he's super cool. I liked him a lot. I also liked Mito, the sword girl. She's got like a wooden katana.
She was the character you played first, I think.
Yeah.
Like the very first time we played.
And when we did our first play, like, I guess that would have been a few weeks ago at this point. But we did that, and I was terrible with her the first time. I didn't like her at all. And I played her a few more times yesterday, and I ended up really liking her. Mm-hmm. And then Boyd, I feel like he was just he was the wild card for me. Boyd, he's kind of like just a stocky, short, Hawaiian shirt-wearing old man with a beard and glasses, I think. And he's got like a lobster tattoo, and he's got a little counter on the screen that shows like a lobster counter going up.
But we found out they're not
lobsters. You're shaking your head at me. We did find out that it's a scorpion counter apparently. But the entire time we were playing, I was just thinking it was a lobster counter, and it was just at the bottom of the screen. It would go up to like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what's the deal with this lobster counter? So I feel like that dude he was one of my go-to picks because of that. I was just trying to figure out what the lobster counter was, and I never figured out what to do with it. But yeah, I thought he was an enjoyable character.
It seemed to make him more lethal.
It did.
I don't know exactly what the effect was, but yeah.
Yeah. It almost felt like once you got up to I got up to like 5 lobsters, and at some point he kind of had that Jamie drink effect going on from Street Fighter 6, where he just had more moves and they felt stronger. So maybe it was just like a pre-Jamie kind of thing.
I like how he fires his fingers.
Oh yeah.
Like he shoot a gun.
Yeah, he just has like a little like one finger assassination thing. He was really cool.
Yeah.
I like him. He uses like the shoryukens and stuff. I thought that was really funny when he did that. Who were your favorites, Molly?
My favorites ended up being Orville,
Okay.
Lud, and Kaya.
Okay. I feel like Orville is the surprise for me with that, but you do kind of get drawn to Biggs occasionally.
Yeah. He fit the style of grappler that I like. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm always like kind of reaching for that grappler style, but it doesn't always line up for me, but I like him. And then Lud was I think he was the very first character I played, and he's just a good dude.
Yeah, he's just pretty good.
He's pretty fun. And then he has one of those elements where he's got that on-screen extra meter with the thermometer.
Yeah, he had like a thermometer at the bottom of the screen where you could raise his heat or something, but we never got it all the way up to 100, so I don't know what it does.
I got it moving though.
You did.
Just at 0.
You got it up to like 60 at one point, but yeah, we never got it all the way up, so I'm not sure what that thermometer does, but I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. Just another like mechanic that they don't really tell you about that you've got to figure out. Seems like there are a lot of interesting system mechanics in this game. Like a huge amount of options, honestly. Some of them reminded me of other games. Others were things that just kind of felt brand new to us. But a few of the things that reminded me of other things, there are actually something called rush combos in the Rumblefish 2, where you press both strong attacks at the same time, and then it brings out like a dash attack, and you can do that after any normal combo, and then you can also chain into another normal combo from the dash attack. So it reminded me of the drive rush in Street Fighter 6. which I thought was pretty cool. I feel like I've never seen that in a game prior to Street Fighter 6, and then we go back and play this game. Mm-hmm. There are super jumps as well, which I always love when any fighting game has super jumps. It just reminds me of King of Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those were very similar to the King of Fighters. They felt the same. You could only do it forward, not backwards. There's a dodge button similar to King of Fighters, but you can only dodge forward, not backwards. And you can avoid projectiles with it, certain attacks. You can air dash. It's like you use the dodge button. You can like dodge through the air to avoid projectiles that are airborne. You can air block, which I thought was super cool. I feel like I don't see a lot of games that you can air block in. And you can also tech when you get hit when you're in the air, which I thought was one of my favorite features. I was constantly just teching and landing on my feet.
Yeah, that makes it really, the pace a lot more exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So. It's like really high intensity. Some of the matches are just super quick because there's no time where you're just grounded. Like you're always just teching and landing and just getting right back into the fight, which I think is super cool.
We did have one where we timed out
the
match, so that was kind of surprising. But...
Yeah, we had one timeout yesterday actually, which that was kind of shocking because we were both just going hard at it. We were kind of getting sweaty a little bit.
I like the meters. There's like a defense and a
offense
one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that it's got both meters in it, and I guess I've seen offense and defensive meters in a couple of games. I feel like that's few and far between when you see both. MK11 had that.
Yeah, they had like
Yeah, where it was like split. That's the only one I can think of right now that had both. But they definitely didn't work the same way.
I know you can go into like a mode where they have like special abilities or something, like each character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what they call that, but
turns
it's
red.
Yeah, some kind of critical art or something.
The boost? Was that the boost?
It reminds me of Dark Forces and Darkstalkers. You know how like the characters would get like a special ability.
During,
like,
I've never played that one.
Yeah, neither of us have actually ever played Darkstalkers just yet.
Oh my god, you have got to get into that.
Yeah,
All right, we will do that.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the characters and I've seen that it's on like they have like a collection of all the Darkstalkers games on PlayStation. So at some point, I'm definitely gonna get that.
What's weird about the collections though is that the arcade versions, there's like all different versions of the same game where they swap out characters because I guess of the memory restrictions.
Oh, okay.
But there's a version that has all the characters all in one game. And for whatever reason, that recent collection, the Capcom collection that had the Darks, doesn't have that version, as far as I know.
Okay,
doesn't have
interesting.
that version in it, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Huh.
But very interesting series. And we talk about like different systems and stuff like that, and I mean, you would really love to dive into it. It's a very fun, fast-paced game.
Yeah, I've looked at the characters and I feel like they're so unique that would be a huge draw as well.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's like they take all these lore, horror lore characters and make them into, like redesign them into like, Capcom, put the Capcom flair on them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, if I were to guess, and I don't know you too well, but I bet you just by the characters you picked earlier, you'd probably like John Talbot.
Who's that? I like that name.
Yeah. I think you're right on that.
In Japan. But
okay.
Yeah, I guarantee that'd be your guy.
Yeah, as soon as you said his name, I just had a huge smile go across my face.
I could tell too.
I love that name.
I think you're right there.
Otherwise, from what I've just seen pictures of, I really like the sarcophagus looking dude, Anakaris.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah.
He looks super cool.
He's a little interesting to control. It's more slow when he jumps.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but he's got some interesting. I think Molly might like him because he's got a thing where he can grab you from a distance, like a kind of a long distance throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like
pretty
that.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'd probably like that.
All right, we know who
she's
we're
just
picking
nodding,
first.
like, yep. Yeah, that's awesome. We're definitely gonna have to get into that. That's been on my wish list for a while now. It's just, I guess we've been waiting for the right time, and then that, and I feel like this entire last year has just been nothing but brand new fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a fighting game fan now.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Yeah, it definitely is. We're in a renaissance right now of it.
Sure.
It's a good time.
And then you got plenty of the games you can backlog on, and like a lot of the community, like we're talking about, like online. There's so many people, like you mentioned outside of this, Gal Win quote.
Oh yeah.
Like he's been really amplifying some of these more obscure fighters, like really helping get the word out there on them. And you have a lot of other people that are on Twitter that really have been pushing a lot of these obscure things. So like while we have all this new stuff to kind of sink our teeth into, there's a lot of old stuff that I think there's the building of this community of people that are seeing some of the old games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's pretty fun.
It
is.
It's
a fun time to be a fighting game fan.
It is. I feel like a lot of the time, like sort of my ASMR thing to fall asleep, I'll just throw on like tournaments of the most obscure games I can find and just watch that until I fall asleep on my phone. I've done that with what was the one that he posted recently? Guile Win quote. It was
he did Berkey one.
That was it.
Obscure one.
Yeah, that was the one. I was watching that and that looked super fun.
Oh man, that's great. That game, you use your directions to like attack. It's weird.
Yeah. I watched the tournament that I think he had some footage from something he did in California, and that looked super cool.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Awesome game.
I feel like we'll have to try that out as well.
It's a hard game I don't know if it's emulated yet, but I know he got like the original hardware or something.
Oh yeah, that's
like he invested to get it so he could play it, because it's on that like Neo Geo like CD or 64 or whatever it was. It was like a Neo Geo system.
Yeah,
Neo
Geo 64.
I had like couple 3D Samurai Showdowns and stuff. And SNK needs to get on a boat, put that on some collection so we can actually play it,
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm still waiting on a Capcom 3D Fighters release. Like, I want a 3D collection so I can play Rival Schools.
Yeah, Rival Schools and Power Stone. And even Star Gladiators. Have you played Star Gladiator? Or...
I have not played that one, no.
Oh, man. There's so many fun ones that Capcom had during that time that just got lost. To the Dreamcast era.
Yeah.
Unless you have a Dreamcast.
Yeah, and those things are hard to track down these days.
And they're so expensive now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they are. Let me go back to Rumblefish 2 here.
Well, we were talking about the meter. And one of the things that we found out with the meter is the defensive moves. I thought that was cool that you could spend defensive meter to do like a big like get off me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just like a push a pushback.
It's kind of like a beat 'em up game. So get off me, get off me move.
Yep. I like that. Yeah, that was cool. I feel like you figured that one out, and you were all about that.
Oh, as soon as I saw that was a thing, I was like, oh wow, like I've never really thought about doing that.
Yep. And I was all about the air attacking, and you were all about just the get off me. Final thoughts on the game. I didn't even talk about the art style. I want to talk about the art a little bit because I feel like it's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's very unique. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Molly had mentioned that it was kind of similar sprite-wise to King of Fighters 13. I feel like that game is a little bit higher tier in terms of like sprite quality, but I definitely see what you mean by it because it's super bright, it pops. The backgrounds are a little bit different because I feel like the backgrounds are almost like 3D with like a sprite wrapping around it or something.
Reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, like kind of the way the backgrounds were. Where it's like you got the 2D, but with like the 3D backdrops. But they're kind of empty stages a little bit. Like it's not like a lot going on back there, but. Yeah,
definitely. One of them that we fought on quite a bit yesterday. It was just like a factory or something.
Like an engine room.
Yeah, some kind of engine room, and it was just a rusty, like empty room. But it had kind of a banger for a song, so we just stayed on it for a bit. I feel like the music's really cool in the game. It's got a really interesting graphical style, and I feel like for a second when I first started playing, I was kind of thinking like, I don't know if I love the way this looks, just like sprite wise, but I think it grew on me the more I played it, and now I just want to play it a bunch.
It's interesting too that you could see like ripped clothes.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
I was just thinking about that.
Art of fighting.
Yeah. What did they call it?
So
they
called
it
parts crush.
Parts crush. Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know what the threshold is on that, but we saw that a lot. That is interesting and definitely different.
Yeah, it is different. I feel like I hadn't really seen that before. We did notice that for the girls, it's usually just like it'll rip their shirt open or
Right.
something. And like for Viren, he just had like a couple of tears on the bottom of his pant legs.
Yeah, a little bit less extreme. But
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a super cool feature as well. And I thought it was funny that it was called Parts Crush.
I'm guessing they might have. I don't know the details behind they made the game, but you were mentioning King of Fighters 13. I wonder if they used some kind of rotoscoping type thing, where they kind of drew over.
Yeah, it's
something
possible.
originally. It'd be interesting to kind of see how they came up with it, but
Yeah.
that's the way it kind of feels. It feels like there's like maybe rotoscoping type techniques used in how they went about it.
Yeah, for like over like some 3D model kind of stuff for the backgrounds and
Yeah, because I think that's how they did 13. They used 3D models and then they drew over top of that to use it as a guide or something.
that's cool.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool. It's like a super unique way of doing it. Anything with
Right.
sprites is like just a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Have you? Speaking of like the look, have you ever seen Art of Fighting 3?
I don't think I have actually. I've only ever played the first two.
You need to check that out if you're talking about like sprite quality and like the kind of style that you were talking about.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy. Like it's very detailed. Like in terms of they definitely used like real people and then drew over top of that as a guide.
Oh,
But
cool.
The
Oh, that's
animations and stuff that come out of it is insane. Like the
Yeah.
folds and the clothes and everything. It's very top notch.
We'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, have to add that to like
Or go Billy
the top
list.
of our list. Yeah, for sure. We should do an Art of Fighting episode sometime.
Oh,
Cover those
definitely.
games. Talk about young Geese Howard.
Love geese.
Oh yeah.
Geese Howard is so cool. He's definitely one of our favorites around here. Well, unless you had any other mechanics you wanted to bring up or anything, I think that's all of them that I have.
I think I got them too.
Okay, yeah. Let's cover some final thoughts here. My final thoughts, it's got a lot of really cool characters in it. And like so many interesting mechanics that I'm sure we may have even missed something during this discussion because there were just so many. And during our couple of play sessions that we've done so far, like obviously we're no pros at this point in the game, but it's super fun and I feel like it's really easy to pick up and just play and have a blast with immediately. But it's so in depth you can sink a ton of time into it. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot to it. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot to the game,
it's
and
fun.
yeah,
It's a fun game, and it's cool that it finally, because before you had to, I think they released the first one like in Japan on the PS2. Well, I mean, a lot of these people didn't really have easy access to play it, and now that you do, you get to play something that a lot of people probably just never got a chance to. And so
yeah, and yeah,
it's definitely fun to have it.
It is, and it feels good. The combos feel really they're really freeform and creative, and I loved being able to just chain them into another combo with that drive rush light kind of thing that they've got going on.
Also, like the chaining of the lights into heavies and stuff.
Yeah.
That's always fun. That always creates a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were a lot of really cool like pathways you could take. So I guess I would rate it 8 lobsters.
Because that's how many you get.
Yeah, that's 8 lobsters is like the maximum amount of lobsters that I ever got during any of our fights. So I'm just gonna go with 8 lobsters.
All right.
What about you? What about you, Billy? What would you give it a rating?
If you want.
Eight scorpions.
8 scorpions? Okay. Fair enough. And what about you, Molly?
Yeah, I guess, in honor of Tekken 8 dropping, I'm going to give it 8 too.
8 as well.
It's a good one.
Eight's the magic number.
I think so, yeah.
It's a game I'd never heard of prior to you winning the Go Billy giveaway. So
Yeah.
it is all new to me. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Bazoo, we didn't really talk much about him, but he was one of the first characters I tried. And I just kind of loved his like freak vibe, so to speak.
Yeah.
Plus, he has a great outro of having a cage lowered onto him.
Oh, yeah.
by this
was
little
crazy.
butler-style man and being taken away.
I wanted to see more of that butler.
Yeah.
When I'd seen the sequel being announced and they showed him, I was like, man, he looks like he's straight out of a horror game.
Yeah, right? He looks nuts. I love
Got
the
a
cage
real
that they put him
interesting
in.
look.
He's pretty cool. I ended up kind of liking him when I played him. When I played him yesterday, he's got this ground punch move where he just punches the ground and a ceiling tile will fall on the character. I love it. I thought that was so fun. I was doing that after like every single string I would do.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, just keep watching out for these ceiling tiles.
And then I know we already talked about Boyd a bit, but he's such a character, and I overlooked him at first just because of his like Jurassic Park vibe.
Yeah, he had
So
that like
he's just like that old man.
that Hammond dude or whatever. Is that his name? The guy at the park.
Yeah, but I was delighted once I gave him a try because he's just got so much going on, and then his mannerisms, his goofy mannerisms of just like chilling on the ground at the end,
Yeah.
having his hat. I don't know what is carrying his hat around.
Yeah, I don't know what that
In
was,
the
honestly. It
background.
looked like a little fuzzy critter of some
Maybe
sort.
a skunk? I don't know. Maybe a scorpion.
Yeah, I guess it could have been I don't know. I'm not
But
sure
yeah.
what it was.
A lobster.
Yeah, maybe
But
it was a lobster.
And the surprise shoryuken made him a fun wild card. I
Yeah,
feel like,
definitely.
so.
And then he kind of freaked us out a little bit, like the third or fourth time we were playing as him, because after a while, I don't know if it's the damage thing, the parts crush or what, but he would eventually just look super evil. He would have red eyes and like a spiky beard and like spiky hair and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
bent down and did his little
Like
like
right now, it's
yeah.
extreme power.
Yeah, he did like some sort of like crouch smile at the end, and he just looked like that, and I was just like, "What the hell is? Why does he look like a devil now?"
A little bit scary.
Yeah,
But,
so
yeah.
he was really cool. I think he was one of the last people I ended up choosing as well, but he was just super fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it as far as my final thoughts go.
Me too.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think I need to play it some more.
Yeah, same. I definitely want to play more of it. Well, with that said, we definitely want to give you a chance to plug some socials or anything else you'd like to plug. So, I guess take it away.
Well, I'm on Twitter on GoBilly1 and on Instagram GoBilly4.
Okay,
All right. Cool.
That's the only ones I'm on
Okay.
socials. So,
gotcha.
but I'm mostly active on Twitter. I don't really keep up at Instagram too much, but
Gotcha.
Mhm.
yeah.
Fair enough. Well, we will link both of your profiles into the show notes so people will be able to find you easier.
Yeah,
That-
definitely give Go Billy a follow and check out his awesome collages
Yeah, for sure.
and other fun little trivias.
Yeah, like we said earlier, I feel like he's an essential follow for anybody that's into fighting games.
For sure. You won't regret it.
And we need to get you guys started on some more fighters after you guys some Darkstalkers.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, for
definitely,
sure.
definitely. I think our main problem is that we don't have a PC, so we're kind of just limited to anything that we can play through PlayStation.
Okay.
So it makes things a little bit tough. Thank you again for doing this with us.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, definitely.
And yeah, thank you for sending me that game. Much appreciated. I really didn't expect to win that at all, but I was pretty psyched.
Cool. Yeah, it's fun game, fun obscure game. You got to spread the love for fighting games around. You know, that's what it's all about, having fun and
Yeah, definitely.
creating new friends in this space. You know, in this fighting game community, and just letting people enjoy it. I mean, that's what's so great about fighting games, though. You know.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
Just, it's a fun genre. Great characters, fun, interesting, art, everything. I mean, there's what's not to love, right?
Right.
Mhm.
A lot of great soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of great friends that you can meet and just play constantly with. Yeah, it's a great community. It's a great genre. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. This was super fun. We should do this again sometime.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you for your participation.
Well, once again, that was Go Billy joining us this week, and we just want to say thank you to him. We had such a great time doing this and working together on this with him. So that is all for the Rumblefish 2 for now. I think we'll all be playing it a bit more. But until then, it is Tekken 8 time, and I hope everybody gets a chance to get their hands on that tonight or when sometime within the next week until we see you again, where we'll be talking about Tekken 8.
That's right. It is Tekken 8 time, and we have been very much looking forward to this. I feel like Molly's been looking forward to it a little bit more than me even, but my hype is real now. It's been building up. I can't wait to play these bears soon.
Yeah, we will fill you in on all of our first thoughts and impressions next week, and until then, play some Tekken 8. Or play some Rumblefish too, whichever you prefer. Maybe both.
Yeah, go out there and press some buttons. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow along on Twitter at Wakeupthreefgc or on YouTube and Spotify at Wakeup3. I'm your host Cam, and you can find me at Big Ruck Online on all social media.
And I'm your host Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut, that's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation, that's Jan Michaels.
This is Wake Up 3 signing off.
Bye.
You didn't even open your mouth.
This is what we're doing.
You didn't even open your little mouth to say that.
Wow, the train just keeps getting closer.
Like, where? How is it getting so close
The
to us?
vengeful train.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's off the rails and it's headed right at us right now. Burn!
Thrusters activated.
Yeah.
Soaring over us.
It's gonna crash into our house and kill us.